Hey, what's going on? Welcome back to Blackbird News, where everything is connected. How y'all doing? Not live on Rumble today. We're live on X, on YouTube, and on Telegram. So if you want to watch the show in the Telegram chat, it's there. And if somebody could do me a favor, if you are in the Telegram chat, if you can let me know if you can hear me and see me, that would be great. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's going. I just don't want to get all the, feedback if I check in on it. Anyways, let's see. I'm trying, the reason why I'm going to Telegram and not Rumble is I'm trying something out. I've noticed when I've streamed to Rumble that my numbers go extremely low, right? The number of people they say are watching on either X or on YouTube are very, very low. And so it's weird because now I'm streaming to Telegram and I have like plenty of people watching on YouTube and Twitter. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why that is. I don't know why streaming to Rumble disrupts somehow or squashes the number of people viewing. So for some reason it does. Some weird, strange algorithm is dinging me for streaming to Rumble, and I don't really get it. But whatevs, yo. I'm gonna keep on keeping on. But that's an interesting Interesting development. So the biggest news in the land is what's up, Kate and Malcolm? I see you. Biggest news going right now is the Elon Trump feud that seems to be escalating and escalating and escalating and escalating. My God. Where will it end? Will it end with Trump being impeached? Will it end with the Epstein files being released by Elon? Will it end with Elon being deported? Will it end with J.D. Vance as president? Kate says, who cares? I don't know. I still hold that it is a distraction. And had a brief back and forth with Indy on X. Just, he's saying the same thing, that there's something happening, something bigger is going to happen, and this is all just a distraction for it. But maybe. Malcolm says Elon got financially canceled by his salute, then his EV subsidy removed, economically destroyed by the combination. That's why he's crying. I want to know why he has a black eye. Trump just hit Elon on the back of the head with a folding chair. It is some kind of wrestling thing going on. Anyways, Elon says time to drop the really big bomb. Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. Whoa. This is the real reason they have not been made public. I don't think that's the only reason. I mean, how much else is in those, right? Who else is being protected by the non-release? It's not just Trump. It's like everybody else. It's, Clinton and Casey Wasserman and, everyone. I don't know. Anybody have any thoughts on what the next big news thing is going to be? What's going to pull us out of this spiral, this Elon Trump death spiral? Let's see. I don't know. We're just kind of going through just some random things today. It's early. It's Friday. It's kind of scrambling to get the show together because of the early times. Here's Patriot Voice. It says Elon Musk admits what the plan was all along, an attempt to replace Trump by impeachment with their technocratic wonder boy J.D. Vance. This is a leading theory. They all convinced Trump to pick J.D. Vance as VP. That is why there is such a heavy presence for tech CEOs at Trump's inauguration. You think Zuck flipped just because Trump was shot at? Zuck got the call, just like the rest of them, to support Trump to make their AI-controlled government vision a reality. JD is our guy. I mean, Thiel, Musk, and Andreessen, and all these other guys that were paraded through the Joe Rogan show in, summer and fall 2024 to bolster the Trump campaign. all these guys are and Alex Karp, and all these guys are now super comfy in the Trump administration. And I feel like there's a reason for that. That's obviously everybody has been predicting this. Hold on. Open-minded approach says, yes, the game is rigged. Everyone is playing their role behind the scenes. They're all preparing for the upcoming. So here's another theory, which is a pole shift and rapid climate change. What? You don't say. Everyone is playing their role, and behind the scenes, they're all preparing for the upcoming geophysical event. So are Donald Trump and Elon Musk still friends? Elon Musk has said it openly that the shifting of the magnetic poles is linked to glaciation periods, ice ages, and rapid climate change. That is an interesting admission. He knows that the current pole shift is a warning sign of what's approaching. Donald Trump knows too. There's a deep rabbit hole. I haven't looked at this whole thing, but let's.
Climate also changes pretty radically over the course of, like, say, 10,000 years. It can shift from being extremely hot to extremely cold. You can really go down a deep rabbit hole if you read about ice ages.
So interesting. That's
that how much Earth's climate has changed, and even where the magnetically where the poles are has shifted over time. Climate also changes.
All right. I haven't read this whole thread, so let's read it together. Donald Trump is also aware of this event. That's why during the first term in 2020, when asked about climate change, he said, it will get cold. Just watch. They are anticipating, a grand solar minimum, blah, 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 increased cosmic radiation, widespread crop failures, global famine, heightened volcanic and seismic activity, societal collapse, extreme climate events. That's why they're building doomsday bunkers and smart cities run by AI. It's not because it's going to get colder, though, yos.
So I think one area of mutual agreement and priority is vegetation management. But I think we want to work with you to really recognize the changing climate and what it means to our forests, and actually work together with that science. That science is going to be key.
Oh,
because
this
if
guy's
we ignore that science and sort of put our head in the sand and think it's all about vegetation management, we're not.
Not saying the current backlash is entirely scripted. There might be some egos involved. After all, Elon has gone all in on Donald Trump, while his former friends like Sam Altman and Peter Thiel are securing massive deals for the companies OpenAI and Palantir, while Elon is sidelined. But if I had to guess, they're all ultimately working toward the same goal, ensuring their own survival. Right. Forgot to mention Sam Altman. Alt. It's important to understand that the elite's plan was leaked in 2010 by Bill Ryan. And it appears that everything we're experiencing since 2019, from COVID to the wars, has been scripted. So I assume this is part of the script as well. Let's keep going. According to former Bush administration official, and we covered this. According to Catherine Austin Fitts, more than $21 trillion in black budget funds have been used to build doomsday bunkers and underground bases or cities designed to ensure the survival of the chosen ones during the event. Who else calls themselves the chosen ones, I wonder? The development of AI and robotics is no coincidence. It was released so the masses could train the AI to absorb all human knowledge and expand upon it, ultimately creating a workforce of robots to serve as workers, guards, surgeons, and entertainers in their doomsday bunkers. AI isn't here to take your job or provide you with a universal high income. It's here to serve them as their labor force and help usher in their golden age after the event. Okay, etc. I don't know. Do you want to hear this?
They said,
I haven't heard this one.
China will catch a cold.
They said that China will catch a cold.
After that, then what effectively will be a kind of plague will actually spread right across the world to the West as well. And you've got this totalitarian military lockdown in all the governments in the Western worlds because everyone's going to be in panic about all of this. And then, he said, then the real war starts, something that would be justifiably called the Third World War with a much more major nuclear exchange. They believe that there is going to be what he called a geophysical event, a major geophysical event. There have been trillions of dollars that have been spent on deep underground bases for some reason, which we don't know why it is.
For some reason.
There are repeated cyclical geophysical events about every 11,500 years. Information about what really happened to Atlantis was very probably in the Great Library of Alexandria that burnt down a couple of thousand years ago. There are persistent rumors that much of that information has been retrieved and it's in the Vatican Library. This is information which is not in the public domain.
All right. I guess that's interesting. If that guy said all that in 2010, he sounds like a wingnut, right? But he's hitting on a bunch of things that have come true or are within the realm of possibility. So that's interesting. Where is Whitney Webb? I have something from Whitney Webb here. Oh, by the way, Ocasio-Cortez reveals her Jewish heritage just in time to vote for some more genocide. Yeah. She's got to go visit Israel now. All right. Okay, let's listen to Whitney Webb talking about Palantir, Vance. I think this is from last year. He's probably about a year old.
An intelligence contractor, just like Palantir is. So let's back up for a second. So Palantir, deeply tied to the CIA, it decides who goes on the domestic terror watch list or main core for the CIA based on your online activity. That's what Palantir does.
Oh, I'm on it then for sure.
LifeLog, you mentioned earlier, Peter Thiel, at the time he was trying to privatize total information awareness, which was directly related to LifeLog in many ways. He becomes the first the first outside investor in Facebook that made the company what it is today. Yeah.
So Facebook is like a dark
launched
pit.
The same day that LifeLog was shut down, and later went on to hire former DARPA directors like Regina Dugan to run top parts of their enterprise, as well as, people like Sheryl Sandberg, who was like deeply tied up with Larry Summers. And isn't it weird that Larry Summers ends up on the board of like Thiel protege companies like Sam Altman's OpenAI and all these other things? Interesting. But Facebook, what it was doing also was sucking up all of this data. We were freely giving it to them. And this is what, the guy that created LifeLog was like, directly said, Facebook is like what LifeLog was going to be, but people were worried about giving LifeLog data when it was a DARPA program, but now that it's a private company, no one cares. But we know that Facebook and all these other companies have given our data to the government. Even new X policies have said that like your DMs can be given to the government if there are requests made, and things like that. So I think Elon Musk plays both sides. I think he does good cop, bad cop between himself and his CEO, Linda Yaccarino. She'll come out and say something that's unpopular and Elon Musk will say something else, but ultimately, Twitter's policy isn't really that different. And now the people doing identity verification for Twitter, because the goal for Twitter, Elon Musk said at the very beginning, is to verify all humans. So have you verify yourself by linking your government issued ID to your Twitter account.
That's a real
So
idea.
no more anonymous Twitter accounts, right? And the problem with that is that, they probably know who you are if you're anonymous, but if they don't like what you're saying or they think you might commit a crime or something like that before you do it in this pre-crime paradigm that they've set up, if they link it to your government ID, that's troubling. And the company now doing it used to be an Israeli intelligence connected firm. Now it's Stripe, which I believe is funded by Peter Thiel and some of these other PayPal guys.
PayPal Mafia. Staying relevant. What else is going on? Somebody is claiming that Lindsey Graham is laundering money out of Ukraine. Tell me more. There was just, this is interesting though. This feels a little coordinated, right? There was a story that just came out that Lindsey Graham was in Ukraine right as this drone attack was happening, and that he rented hotels with Richard Blumenthal, and it cost him basically $1 million to rent 2 hotel rooms, which is sounds like money laundering to me. But somebody's on I don't know what this station is. It's not Fox. Is it Newsmax? Anyways, a CIA officer says significant amounts of money is being laundered back to Senator Lindsey Graham. Well, no duh. If you run a hotel room for $1 million, they're like, well, we'll just we'll charge you $1 million and then we'll send you back the other $950,000. We'll just take the $50,000 for the room for the night, and we'll send the rest back to you. I mean, Ukraine is just a huge money laundering pit, anyways. Everybody knows that. Well, let's listen to this.
And let me say something about Senator Graham. There will be news coming out in the next couple of months about how he has profited financially.
Yep. Yeah, I really hate that. I hate when people are like, it's going to just watch out. There's going to be some big thing coming out about the thing really soon. It always just sounds like a bunch of bullshit.
Off of money that came out of Ukraine, laundered through Latvia, and made its way into his bank account. And then we're talking significant amounts of money. Department of Justice is looking at it.
All right, those are serious allegations leveled by CIA officer, former CIA officer Larry Johnson. We shall see.
And let me say something about Senator Graham.
I don't know. Maybe, I mean, it's obvious. It's obvious that he's laundering money, or he's part of the money laundering operation, but is he really going to be held accountable? You know what? I have to say, this war quote unquote, between Russia and Ukraine there's been a lot of people posting all the way through the war, posting pictures of being in Kiev and like there's nothing happening. There's like no war happening, right? They're walking through there, there's people out there partying, they're, whatever, dancing all night, doing cocaine, having a good old time. And Kiev looks relatively untouched. And so there's a lot of people, I don't know, maybe then I see footage of, Ukrainian and Russian soldiers, shooting each other or getting killed by drones, or there seems to be actual war footage going on, but there seems to be also something like Russia struck back at Kiev and Ukraine and 4 people died. Like, compare that to whatever war is going on in Gaza, which is not a war, where thousands are being slaughtered. Hundreds of people are being killed like every single day. Thousands are being slaughtered. That is, is a real, whatever it might be. That looks like real military strikes, and like people are really trying to get somebody, out of the way, right? When I hear that Russia, struck back, against the Ukraine attack, and 4 people were killed in Kiev, golly gee willikers. I mean, yeah, it's sad 4 people were killed, but like, it just doesn't. How real was this attack? Like, how were they trying to attack them, or what are they? I don't know. I don't really. This war just grinds on, but it doesn't, and you hear that there are a lot of casualties, but I just, like, you would think that Russia, with all its power and might, would just roll the heck over Ukraine, and it wouldn't take very long. So this seems more of a coordinated, like, skirmish, which makes sense, right? So if they're just making this war happen in order to feed the military-industrial pipeline and keep people on edge and like, oh my God, here comes World War III. Oh God, no. And it just grinds on for years, just kind of like Afghanistan. It just grinds on for years with no real progress being made. Well, then, that's just not really a war. That's just a money laundering operation, basically, which is what it is, what it's always been. Anyways, supposedly Russia launches one of the war's largest air attacks days after Ukraine's bomber raid, and they made sure not to hit any people or anything, or any hotels where Lindsey Graham might be staying at. Russia launched a barrage of drones and ballistic missiles across Ukraine early Friday, killing at least 3 people, injuring dozens of others, days after Kiev launched a daring raid on Moscow's fleet of strategic bombers, which, oh no, they're going to have to build some more now. Bad for the military, great for the economy, right? For the residents of Kiev, the night's soundtrack was familiar. Shrieking of whir of drones, air raid sirens, and large explosions overhead. And then they went out partying until 4 a.m. Whether from air defenses successfully downing missiles or projectiles puncturing the capital. Here's a, I mean, that, sure, that looks bad. Does it look like anybody's living in those apartment buildings? Compare this to a picture of, like, the Gaza mayhem. This just looks like, oh no, a missile struck an elevator. Meanwhile, I'm not, maybe they really did. Maybe somebody really got hurt in this. Hold on. On top of the fact, the whole fakeness of the Ukraine attack on Russia, right? Like, oh, the U.S. didn't know about it. Trump didn't know about it. Nobody knew about it, but Lindsey Graham was there. Oh. I smell something fishy in Denmark. Anyways, they're skirmishing and a skirmishing. And there were supposed to be peace talks, but oh my God, they got scuttled again. This sounds like, it just sounds like a replay of the Ukraine war under the Biden administration. They have peace talks, they have ceasefire talks. It doesn't go down. Nothing happens. Nothing changes. Nothing goes down. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? It's just stuff that everybody already knows. Yes, Salt Lakers, the resort fees have gotten out of hand. Kate says, I have a theory about the pole shifts. If migrating birds use the poles to migrate, and they are still following the routes they've been following, then I'm guessing the migration knows better. You went to a U.S. aid presentation of the bombed out cities in Ukraine. The presentation had us wearing viewers that make us feel like we were really there. It was an interesting presentation. It was a U.S. aid presentation. Okay. I don't know. I mean, I've just seen there are parts of this war that seem, they're kind of like in COVID, right? When COVID started and people were taking pictures of nobody at the hospitals, and they're like, where's all the, if this is a pandemic, like, where's the people? And I've, when the first, in the first couple of years of the Ukraine war, there were a lot of people just taking pictures, video of walking around Kiev, and everybody's like, eating ice cream and hanging out. They're like, where's the war? Where's the war? Like, what is this? Are we at war? So it seems, and I've seen some other videos like fake military, where they're like staging, military operations that aren't really, they're not really doing anything. It is an interesting, like, aside to this whole thing. 427 hours of hospital dance videos. Yeah. Oh, there were also videos of like fake, like people on ventilators, right? Like crash test dummies on ventilators. That also happened. Anyways, it's 1984 all over again. Highly choreographed dance videos. They were all the rage. People were doing those COVID dance moves. Everybody do the neck spike. Ugh. Have you gotten your neck spike? I don't want it. This is Trump saying Trump is taking credit for bombing Nordstream. He wasn't even in office when it happened. Remember Bill de Blasio saying you could get a hamburger if you get vaccinated? Nothing like a cheeseburger right after I get vaccinated. Hold on. Yeah, this is Trump. Trump said he destroyed Nordstream 2 in front of the German Chancellor Merz. To which Merz said, "Bro, you weren't even president. What's wrong with you?" No, he didn't say that, but he should have.
Yeah, please. On Russia, are you willing to put more pressure on Putin to end the war by imposing new sanctions on Russia and also on China?
Well, remember, I'm the one that ended Nord Stream 2, going to a place called Germany, come to think of it. I'm sorry I did that. But I ended Nord Stream 2, nobody else did. And then when Biden came in, he immediately approved it. That's essentially the largest pipeline in the world, going to Germany and other countries. And by the way, we have so much oil and gas, you will not be able to
so
buy
he didn't
it all.
bomb
I mean, you literally, we have so much, and I hope we're going to
He
make
didn't say
that
he
part of
bombed.
our trade deal because we have more than anybody else. We have actually the most, by far in the world, probably double what anyone else has. So
He
we'll
just
work
said
on that. I'm
ended.
sure that's something we'll discuss today.
It's kind of the same thing. All right. Nobody isn't even operating in reality, I guess. Oh, I forgot to mention this, that Trump terminated Elon's subsidies and contracts. You were surprised that Biden didn't do it? What? Whatever. He's just saying anything. To which Elon Musk said, in light of the president's statement about canceling my government contracts, SpaceX will begin decommissioning its Dragon spacecraft immediately. Oh, darn. Whatever shall we do without SpaceX? Launching rockets. And so now Elon wants to create a new political party in America. Don't you know what happens when you try to create a new political party? All of this is okay. Wonder what the answer is. Yes, 80%. Okay. Aaron Day saying, here's an opportunity. I don't know. Do I have a rooster? Did you hear that? What was that? That was a weird sound, but I don't. It wasn't a rooster. Unfortunately, we don't have a rooster. And so we just leave the astronauts on the space station. The you know. You mean the studio lot that's in Glendale that they tell you is the space station? Is that what you mean, Bella? That's because that's where all that happens. It's like in Glendale. It's off a brand. I know where it is. It was funny when Joe Rogan was like, Elon saved those astronauts from the space. Why is nobody talking about this? And I was kind of like, because nobody believes that it's actually real. That's why nobody cares. Nobody gives two shits about the space station or about, oh, Elon went up and saved these astronauts. No, he didn't. Nothing happened. It was a fake news story. Just like Katy Perry going to space. It was a fake news story. It was just fake. The whole thing was fake. And Joe Rogan acting like it was real was embarrassing. Why is nobody talking about Elon saving the astronauts? I'm like, dude, what is wrong with you? Aaron Day, you love to see it. The technocrats are divided. Our time to create a parallel system is now. I haven't been this excited or optimistic in years. Except for the fact that he also thinks that Bitcoin is going to die and Trump is going to put in a CBDC. But maybe this is real. Maybe this is a real feud, and maybe the house is divided, and maybe chaos is ruling, and maybe this is a time for people to get in there, like while the getting's good. I don't know. Kamishwari Kate says, has anyone ever hiked the lower trails of Joshua Tree National Park? I have. I've hiked in the Joshua Tree National Park. I think that the landscape for the space shots came from that trail. Maybe. Maybe there's also, you know, there I think I've shown a few of those videos where they pick a spot like in where's one of them? One of them is like in Algiers. Another one is, you know, north, like somewhere in Canada. I don't know. Where they're like, this looks just like the moon shots. I don't know. Supposedly we went to the moon in the late 60s and the early 70s, and now we don't know how to get back there because we lost all the data and whoopsie, and it's been like 50 years and we can't figure out how to get back to the moon. If that doesn't tell you that it's fake, I don't know, you know, right? Because, or that they've just put everything, you know, in a black box, right? Which also is something that they do, right? Technology goes forward to a point and then it suddenly like stops and they're like, oh no, we're not going to do this anymore. We're not going to work on it. But they're actually, everything was just driven underground, right? The whole, like MK Ultra, like Operation Mockingbird, like what else? You know, when they mothballed the space shuttle. You know, like it could be that all of these things are, you know, the space program just went super dark. There was a plane that was in, what was it? What was the name of the plane? Was it a Black Wing or something? It was like a fighter jet that could fly from New York to LA in like, I think its speed was like 2,000 miles an hour. So it did it in like an hour, really quick. That was in 1971. And then they were like, well, we're putting it out of, okay, 50, 60 years ago, you had a plane that could fly 2,000 miles an hour from LA to New York but we don't have anything like that now. We're just not doing it anymore. Okay. And then you have the Concorde flight going down, right? The supersonic flights. There's no supersonic flights. Why? It crashed. One crashed, and they were like, well, this is a really good reason to just mothball the whole thing. We can't do it anymore. Why? It's like, okay. We have this technology, and now we don't have it anymore. We're never going back. Kind of like the internet. Kind of like Google, kind of like, right, we have this technology. It was pretty cool. We don't have it anymore, and we're never going. No, they have it. Someone else is using it. Someone else is developing it. It's, you know, far down the road, some other road that you can't see. Yes, that is a good quote from Lily Tomlin. I do miss Lily Tomlin. She was funny. Chuck, they don't want you to go back to the moon for reasons I'm not allowed to talk about. Let's just say these people up there who are busy doing things to save your planet. I was listening to something yesterday that was, let me see. No. Warren's Newsstream crapped out. The internet has a grudge. Well, they cut it or what? I mean, I don't know how Sandy Show got axed. That really sucks. She's still alive? Is she? How old is she? 106? I mean, I haven't seen anything from her in like 30, 40 years, so I can still miss her. Okay. Even if she's still alive. Anyways, here's Donald Trump saying that he's high on ketamine. Really? Tell us more. He's going to send him back to Africa. What? When I went live, Warren's stream went down? She's 86. Dang. Well, good for her. She's still kicking. Carol Burnett is still going. She was just in a movie recently. She was really, really good. I can't remember the movie I was watching. Roughly the same time. I do not like that those things are connected in any way, shape, or form. So, Warren, if you're listening, man, I'm sorry. That sucks. What was Carol Burnett in recently? She was really good. Palm Royale. I don't think that was it. Oh, she was in Better Call Saul. That's good. Tim Conway. Yeah, he was great. It's happened several times to him. What is the deal? Yeah, so I'm trying to figure out why when I go live on Rumble that they squash my view count. Is that some kind of weird technocratic tech bro feud thing? Like I can't go live on Rumble at the same time I'm live on YouTube or something? When I go live on Rumble, they tell me like nobody is watching my show. So if I don't go live on Rumble and go live on YouTube and X, all of a sudden I have viewers. That is freaking weird to me. And I just proved it today, right? Like it's a definite. So I streamed for like 3-4 days straight on Rumble and YouTube and X, and they squashed my stream like really, really hard. And I was like, does this have anything to do with Rumble? So I didn't go live on Rumble today. Boom, viewers. What was going on? I don't understand. I don't know what we're watching here. Sorry. Oh, this is, yeah. Okay, got a couple more minutes left of the show. If you guys like the show, if you want to support the show, that would be really great, because this is a way that we keep coming to you live. It looks like somebody hit me up on Ko-Fi already. Who dat? There's lots of ways to support the show in the description box of whatever channel you're watching on. Tor, thank you, Tor. Tor got me on Ko-Fi today. All the usual links are there. PayPal's, Venmo, CashApp, Zelle, Buy Me a Coffee, Ko-Fi, Patreon, Substack, etc., etc., etc. A lot of you support the show on the regular, and you know who you are, and I appreciate you. All right. Don't know if I have anything else super interesting to bring you today. Well, Ryan Grimm posted this. The House is preparing to vote next week on a resolution that would deem Free Palestine to be an anti-Semitic slogan. If anybody votes against this, they'll say they voted to support the Colorado terrorist attack, of course. This These are the masters of gaslighting and twisting of the meaning of words. No, Free Palestine is not anti-Semitic because it is not a negative. It can't be anti-Semitic because it's not a negative towards someone. It is a positive towards someone. Right? Thank you. Bella says Free Palestine. And to which I say Free Palestine. It is a positive, right? You can't. I'm sure there are instances where a positive statement towards something or someone is somehow derogatory, but there are not a lot of instances of that. When you're supporting people's right to live or to be alive or to be free, you are not, condemning or being aggressive to someone. It just doesn't work that way. Free your mind is also anti-Semitic, says Salt Lakers. Steph C says Lily was in that Brady movie. What Brady movie? With Sally Fields, Jane Fonda, and someone else. The older women all had plastic surgery. It made Sally Fields look older. Oh, man. Anti-Semitic. Malcolm says Free Palestine, the right to self-determination for all who want it. And which First Amendment hater wrote and promoted that bill. At this point, everyone in Congress there's not a lot of First Amendment supporters at the moment. You can name them on one hand. You can name them on maybe two fingers. And it's usually comes with the name Thomas Massey or maybe a Rand Paul. I can't think of too many other people that are out there going, free speech, anybody? Maybe a Marjorie Taylor Greene might jump in there once in a while. But nobody really takes her seriously, so unfortunately. Or fortunately, I don't know. She's kind of a wingnut. All right. I think that's mostly it. We'll watch this. Los Angeles Democrats are using taxpayer money. 80 for Brady. I've never even heard of that movie. We'll watch this. Los Angeles lawmakers are using taxpayer money to hire an 11-person law firm to cover up the missing homeless money. The private law firm will be used to defend the billions of dollars in missing homeless funds the city can't account for against the federal government's probe. Wow. I mean, big shout out to James Lee and other people who have been doing that work on discovering all the money laundering going around the homeless funds. The 24, I think, $24 billion or whatever it was that could not be accounted for. And these investigations, that got a lot of publicity, got a lot of traction, got a lot of, people going like, what's going on? So much so that the federal government decided to look into it, and that became a major investigation. And you could probably link that investigation directly to James Lee and others who were doing the uncovering of this.
LA is broke, and our city leaders, Karen Bass, City Council, have told us to expect a huge reduction in our basic city services, such as street repairs, the fire department, our public safety. But what they did find money for was a fancy 11-person law firm to defend the city against the wrongdoings and corruption that the city and county have done with $2.3 billion worth of taxpayer money, our money that has vanished in shady homeless contracts. So if we get this right, they are using our taxpayer dollars to cover up and defend what they did and the wrongdoings and corruption they did with our taxpayer dollars. How does this make any sense? It seems like this money could have been better put use to our roads and making sure that Angelenos are safe.
Hear, hear. Kate says no money will be found laundered through a Napa wine cellar. And Salt Laker says at least $6 million was used to change the zoning under underpasses to residential. All right. Okay, guys, I got to wrap it up. Thank you, Tor, for the donation. I don't know that anybody else has donate anything today, but thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you. Enjoy your weekend. I'll see you all on Monday. I'll see you all on Monday at the regular time, but this actually might be a good time. This actually might be a good time to do the show. So be on the lookout. If I change the time of the show, I will definitely let you know. But there's plenty of people here today right now. At this time, I'm sure it works better for the East Coast and the Europe people as well, because everybody is in bed when I do the show later. All right. Thanks, guys.